Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. Today we are here for round 15 of the season for season number 2, and this is the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. If you guys missed the last episode at Belgium, go check it out guys. I'll leave a link up in the top right hand corner of the screen. An episode in which one of the drivers announced his retirement from Formula 1, so go check it out. But today we are here at Monza, a track in which I'm feeling pretty confident. It seems to suit our car. It's very low downfalls, which is good for us because we struggled in the last race through the second sector in Spa because of all the corners, and this track should be better for us, so I'm looking forward to it. Either way guys, if you're going to enjoy the video, drop me a like, subscribe if you are new. We're very close now to 50k subs, and let's get today's episode underway. Here we are then, we're back once again on the laptop, and you can see on screen we've got rain expected for the race, which is really interesting. Also worth noting in terms of the R&D graph, we are now in 5th place behind Racing Point, Red Bull, Ferrari and Mercedes, so we're getting up there now and we're getting very close to the big boys, and I'm looking forward to it. We don't have any upgrades in the works, but hopefully we'll add some on in this episode. And here is the confirmation of the retirement of Kimi Raikkonen, who will be leaving the sport at the end of the season. So we might finally get some pretty cool driver transfers heading into season 3, which I'm very much looking forward to. But with that said, we now move into practice here at Monza, and I'm looking forward to it because we have 1200 R&D points, and hopefully I'm estimating by the end of the episode to have more or less around 2000 points, hopefully. So with that, I'm hoping to buy a couple of big upgrades heading into the next few races. Of course, this one here today is the last round of the European tracks, and after that we go back to the flyaways. And after practice we went top of the session, P1 by 1.1 seconds. Mick Schumacher up in the top 10 as well, so the car working well and the pace seemingly very strong around here as we look at the total R&D points. And to be fair, a pretty decent amount, 675, which brings our total almost to 2000. So actually, to be fair, we might actually go beyond 2000 once the end of the episode has arrived, so stay tuned for that. But with that, we now move into qualifying, because the last race, of course, we had qualifying in Spa. It was wet. This time it's dry, but this time the race is going to be in the rain. So a bit of a flip reverse to the last episode in Spa, so we're going to see how that shakes out. I have committed to a dry setup because I feel like you want to try and qualify high up around here. It's really important. So here we are then in Q1, and we went for 2 runs in this session. I was hoping to do 1, but unfortunately my first lap was just a bit too safe. No mistakes, it just wasn't that fast. We go P9, which is okay at the time, but then eventually everybody set their laps and we got pushed down all the way down to P17 and into the drop zone. So we're going to have to improve here, and this was my second lap. We found quite a bit of time actually through this little left-right chicane, and we were 2.5 to 3 tenths up heading into sector 2. We're now a little bit further ahead, and we're 4 tenths clear heading into Ascari. The checker flag has now dropped, but look at this, nearly half a second in our back pocket as we make our way along the back straight. 1 more corner to go, of course, the Parabolica, and we're going to see how we get on here as we brake at the 50-meter board, down to 5th gear, and then back up to 6th, trying to get the power down. And there we go, that's a lap of Monza, and we're going to improve by near enough half a second, and we're going to jump all the way up, I believe, into the top 10, I think. We'll get confirmation soon. Yes, it is. So there we go, that lap was pretty strong, and we're into Q2, so we survive a bit of a late scare. Mick Schumacher up in 8th place as well, a 1:16.8 from our teammates. He was a 10th quicker than me, and looks like he's got really strong pace around here, so that's really encouraging. Also worth noting, Verstappen knocked out in Q1 in 18th place along with Carlos Sainz, so a couple of surprising eliminations in Q1 as we now move into Q2. And again, 2 runs in this session. This was my first one, and this was actually a pretty decent opener. You know, a 1:17.0. We did a 16.9 in Q1 to go through, so not so bad this time. We then move on to our second lap, and this was my best lap of Q2. We're currently P10 on the bubble, so we need to improve to get into Q3. Will we improve? We're about to find out. Let's go for a full lap here of Monza. Here we go out of the Parabolica, and we're pretty much a tenth and a half up as we're currently P12, so we need to improve, and that's what we're going to do. Is it going to be enough to get into Q3? We'll get confirmation shortly. Across the line we go, P7. Yes, we do. So we are through into Q3, which is great news for us, setting a new best lap time of the weekend. A 1 minute 16.8. To my surprise though, Mick Schumacher eliminated in only P15 with a 1:17.2. That's 4/10 slower than his Q1 time. Had Schumacher replicated his Q1 lap, he would have gone through. So I'm not sure what happened to Mick, whether he maybe had traffic or something, but bit of disappointing qualifying from Mick Schumacher in Q2 as we now move into Q3. And this first one was actually on used tyres because I had no fresh sets. I only had one fresh set left for my final run, so I had to do a used tyre run. And to be fair, it was a really good lap. We set our new fast lap of the weekend, a 1:16.7 on used tyres. So that was very encouraging already, and we're P6 as it stands. But this was my final lap in Q3. Let's see if we improve. Fresh tyres on the car. Can we get any higher than P6? We're about to find out. Let's go for yet another lap of the Italian Grand Prix. And here we go out of the Parabolica one more time, running a little bit wide, but look at this, 2.5 tenths up. We are absolutely flying. We crossed the line, and it's our best lap of the weekend by far, a 1:16.4, which is going to give us P4 in Q3. So second row of the grid for qualifying, a really good performance, and the lap was perfect. You know, really, really strong. By far my best lap, and it's good that I saved the best till last. Also worth noting, Antonio Giovinazzi up in P6, and also Ocon in P5. Both of those guys pulling off a bit of an upset in many ways, and a really strong qualifying from us three, to be fair. Hamilton only P7, the championship leader down there, so disappointing from him, but Bottas on pole. Either way, that's ever qualifying. We're now going to move into an interview.
What was the secret of your qualifying pace?
I think we just had a great car to go flat out. We could just push the car every single session. It got faster and faster. It was great.
There's quite a buzz around this team at the moment. What are your thoughts on them?
I'm not particularly concerned. I mean, I know Verstappen got knocked out in Q1. Personally, I think I'm more focused on myself, to be honest.
Appreciate your time.
And there we go then after qualifying. In terms of the rivalry breakdown, Charles Leclerc did out-qualify us, which is a shame because that was a really good qualifying session from us, and he now leads the rivalry 11-10. So yeah, hopefully we can try and turn that around the next couple of races, and also we do gain a small amount on acclaim across all three areas. But guys, that is it for qualifying. We're now going to move into the race for the Italian Grand Prix here at Monza.
Welcome back to one of only two countries that has held a race every year since the very first Formula One World Championship in 1950. It is, of course, Italy, one of the great racing nations, and it's time to get underway for the Italian Grand Prix. With the rain coming down here at the 3.6-mile Monza circuit, the low drag setups preferred by most teams could cause them some problems in today's Grand Prix. So watch out for cars struggling for grip around Parabolica, the last and most demanding of this track's 11 corners. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn one. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are three main things to worry about there, Crofty. Positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The fin starts from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Martinez, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Hamilton, Vettel, Stroll, Albon, and Daniel Kvyat, Ricciardo, Norris, Pierre Gasly, and Schumacher, Ocon, Raikkonen, Carlos Sainz, and Kevin Magnussen. Grosjean, Latifi, Russell, and Max Verstappen completes the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Right guys, so here we are, it's time for the start of the Italian Grand Prix, starting from P4 of course. After that really strong qualifying, we've got a Racing Point, a Ferrari and a Works Mercedes in front of us, and we're going to be starting on the second row, which is really strong, and it gives us a chance of hopefully moving forward in this race. The strategy for today is pretty straightforward. We're going to be starting on the full wet tyres because of course it is absolutely throwing it down on the racetrack, and there is a chance it could dry up later on in the race, so maybe intermediates could come into effect at some point, but for now it's going to be the full wet tyres. Fuel wise, I've actually gone for just under 0.5 in terms of fuel, so we've actually gone negative just slightly because I feel like we could save some fuel in these conditions, so it'll work for us in terms of having a slightly better pace hopefully at the beginning of the Grand Prix. With that said guys, I'm aiming to try and hold on to this position here today, maybe even get a podium. We'll see how it goes. Either way, there's big points up for grabs and I want to try and cash in, so let's jump into it and let's get racing here for the Italian Grand Prix. Right then, here we go. Let's see what kind of start we get as we get ready for the 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. Oh, it's a great start. Absolutely brilliant. We've jumped everybody. We're into the lead of the race. Oh my goodness me. Woohoo, what a start. There we go. Got to get the car slowed down now into the first corner, which we do. Slight bit of contact. I believe Bottas hit the back of us, but we're into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. And we've got a 9/10 of a second gap to Bottas behind us, so he's had a good start. Hamilton has dropped through the order like an absolute stone. Ooh, okay, maybe not. Oh my god, that was scary. I had to hold on to that. That is why you've got to be careful with the overtake in these conditions. Right, let's collect ourselves and breathe. Giovinazzi up to P4 in the Alfa Romeo. What a performance from him this weekend. Whew. Right, let's see if we can find a rhythm in these conditions and see if we can control the race pace. But what a start. Absolutely unbelievable. It's actually a really good thing as well that the race is in the wet because there's no DRS, which means around here traditionally you do get the DRS trains, but that's not going to be a thing in this race. So it is going to mean it's going to be easier to stay in front and to control the pace. At the moment, we're looking pretty strong already here. We've got Bottas and Leclerc behind, but I've actually got some pretty damn good pace and some very good straight line speed. End of lap 2, let's see what our pace is compared to Bottas. We're going to set a new fastest lap. Will Bottas beat the lap? No, he doesn't, so we're slightly quicker at the moment, which is very encouraging. Hamilton now back up to P5 in the Mercedes and pressuring Antonio Giovinazzi. I'm feeling good. These conditions actually suit me. I feel very competitive in the wet. The car feels great, even though we've got a dry setup on. I think we can hold on to this, maybe even pull away a little bit. Let's see how this goes. Bottas just can't get anywhere near to me at the minute. We've got a very good gap. Another fastest lap of the Grand Prix, 1 minute 30.3. And we're getting quicker and quicker each lap. And also, no ERS is getting used really, so we can just keep using overtake and it's going to help us stay in front. So this is working out beautifully as Hamilton overtakes Giovinazzi for P4. We've now got a 1 second gap over Bottas, more or less. Let's try and see if we can increase that a little bit over these next couple of laps. This was a really strong lap. We're absolutely flying.
But I don't think we have cause to move on to a different tyre yet.
Yeah, we're still okay on these. Pace is really strong. Gap to Bottas now 1.3 seconds. Another fastest lap. Let's see if we can try and dip into the 129s. Another fastest lap. The pace is incredible. Into the 129s. We improved by another 0.2. Gap to Bottas is now 2.2 seconds. At the moment, we're looking great. Leclerc's actually starting to pressure Bottas here for position, which means hopefully if they start battling, it's going to make it even easier for me to pull away. So let's keep that going. At the moment, no idea when we're going to pit, so it's important to just keep building this gap and pulling away from the faster cars behind us. Got to be careful there. Little moment on the exit of Lesmo 2. Got to try and avoid those because we're doing well here, so one mistake will ruin all of our progress, so it's important to try and avoid that as best as we can. Another personal best and the new fastest lap. well into the 129s now. The guys behind can't keep up. Right, we can stop looking at them then. We can now focus on ourselves, on our own race, trying to make sure we make the tyres last and start looking and considering some strategies. So far on the radio, Jeff says no sign of when this rain will slow down, so for now we're sticking with these conditions. And as it stands, if it was full wets that entire way through, looking at the tyre wear, we could attempt a no-stop race, but I'm pretty convinced we will be on the inters at some point, so I'm going to kind of hold out for those rather than box again for the full wets. That's the plan. It feels like the rain is slowing down a little bit. The intensity has dropped a little bit in some areas.
Forecast suggests the rain is going to be lightening up over the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. You should start finding more grip as we clear the standing water.
There we go. As I say that, it just feels like the rain's just starting to slow down a bit, so there could be some intermediates on the horizon. We're on an absolutely insane lap here. Just absolutely flying. Gap to Bottas, 4.5. Just trying to build up a gap as well, because if the AI go for inters before me, then I know when that will happen, so the gap I have will avoid the undercut. We'll cover ourselves basically, because even if they get a lap advantage on the inters.
Full wets in the next pit window, opening in 2 laps, full wets in 2 laps.
Not sure about that one, Chief. We're just trying to make sure we get as much of a gap as possible, basically, to cover the undercut if the AI go for the inters before me. Oh, okay, Hamilton pits in the second Mercedes. We're not going to see what tyre he's on, but it looks like it could be a routine stop for wets, to be fair. We'll find out shortly.
Confirmed.
There it is. Switch to intermediates. I just selected them as well, so we're going to box this lap for the intermediate tyre. Good of the team to notify me so that I know, and we don't have to lose any time to Bottas behind, so let's box for the inters, let's not speed. I don't mind being a bit slow and a bit cautious here, but just to play it safe, we're going to box then. Looks like Bottas and Leclerc are staying out though. That's interesting, because it's definitely the way to go, being on the intermediates. It feels like the track is drying out. Let's see. Hopefully it's not the wrong call from the team.
Go, go, go.
Very slow, 3.1, could have been a lot better. Either way, away we go on the inters. Let's see where we rejoin.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
Well, we're right in the thick of it. Giovinazzi behind, boxing for the inters, but we're behind a lot of traffic here. Let's see what kind of grip we have compared to these guys in the full wets. It feels like it's probably on the crossover, so the full wets is still going to be fine. But it just means that the track will come to us quicker. Okay, it's definitely inters. I can feel the grip, and there's a lot more rear traction as well. Although, to be fair, a full set of wets probably would have done the job and helped us out as well, but obviously this was the logical step to take. It's all about trying to find a move now on the cars ahead. We've got a lot of ERS to burn. This combination of car, condition and track is making it very easy to save energy, and even if I use a lot of overtake, I'm just not going below 70% because the car is very efficient. Let's see if we can get Ocon here. I'm starting to put the pressure on a little bit. His light isn't flashing as much, which leads me to believe he might be saving some energy. Let's see if they pit, and they have released us into clean air. If not, we're going to have to get an overtake done soon. Looks like Mick will pit. Yes, he does. Ocon stays out. Right, here's our chance to get past him then. Here we go.
Nick is coming in for his stop.
There's Bottas leaving the pit exit. Meanwhile, we're lining up Ocon for a move here. Using the grip of these tyres to go around the outside of the Frenchman and then inside through the next corner. Bottas actually has gained quite a bit on us. He's 3.3 behind, so he's made up some time in all of that. Made up about 2 and a bit seconds, so not ideal, but we can once again use our pace, hopefully. Fingers crossed we're just as quick in these conditions and we can try and pull away from him. We're going to catch Lando here and Stroll, I think, at the end of the lap. Alright, here we go then. The remaining full wet tyre runners should be in the pit lane. Raikkonen is the race leader, I believe, so he's in the pits, and there we go. Stroll and Lando also pit. New fastest lap as well from us, of course. It's actually Leclerc, sorry, I thought it was Raikkonen who was in the pit lane, so Bottas back into second place. Hamilton setting the new fastest lap. Looks like the AI may have slightly better pace in these conditions, but Bottas 2.6, 2.5 behind, so the gap has come down. Let's see if we can manage it and try and defend and stay ahead of the Mercedes. Here we go then, we're on course for a new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. 127.6, that's the improvement on the intermediates. Bottas isn't quite able to match that, so we are slightly quicker than Bottas again here. Hamilton does beat a lap, so it looks like Lewis may be having some better pace on these tyres and he could come into play maybe. Okay, interesting. 10 more minutes of rain, so at this pace, maybe there could be some laps on the dry tyres at the very end of the race, maybe. It's going to be close either way. We're on for another fastest lap here. The track is constantly evolving. Also, the car's getting lighter every lap, and we're getting more comfortable on these intermediate tyres as we're going to set a new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Let's see if Lewis beats that one. If he does, that means he's got some really good pace. The pace is definitely a lot closer now. We're struggling to pull out a gap on Bottas like I was in the first stint, so one mistake and I could fall into his clutches. I'm still trying to push on, but like I said, the pace is very close as the laps slowly tick over here in Monza. Ooh, yellow flag, that could be Bottas out of the race. It is. Bottas slowing down. Our main rival, that is massive for the championship. And look at that, Leclerc second, Bottas out as we set a new fastest lap at the Grand Prix. Wow, this race is going perfect for us so far. Let's get confirmation on that soon. I wonder if Bottas actually made a mistake, because he's not out. Oh, is he? Okay, now he's out. There we go. He was hanging on there for a little while in P4. I thought maybe he may have just made a mistake, but he's actually out of the race. Confirmation of that. And there we go. We've now got 6 seconds in our pocket over Charles Leclerc, and suddenly the pressure now is off. We can relax a little bit. Not too much, but we can definitely relax a little bit. Oh, whoa, big moment there. Getting a bit loose, too much power, putting the overtake button on a little bit too early. Luckily, we've still got a good gap to Charles Leclerc behind us. The track is drying out as well, so there could be some dry tyres on our way maybe. Bit of a moment there, but that's okay. Across the line, new fastest lap. I'm pushing on again here, just trying to make a bit more of a gap for myself. In case there's a switch to dryers and I get undercut or I time it wrong. The track is really starting to dry out now. But the rain is still slowly dropping as we set another fastest lap into the 126s now. The gap to Leclerc has gone up to 6.4 seconds, so we're really pulling away here. 3 laps to go. We're almost there. Well, what a dominant performance this has been so far. Oh, careful. Bit too much throttle there. The track is drying and I'm losing a bit of grip. I'm also not using ERS or fuel. I'm trying to save the engine a little bit for the future races, so that's why we've got a big gap to Leclerc. I can afford to save the engine. The rain has now officially stopped, but we won't be going onto the dryers. The track is nowhere near dry enough, so we're going to be seeing this one out on the inters. Oh, Leclerc's taken away our fastest lap. I'm not having that. We're going to push on here, see if we can get that lap back on this one, because I won that extra point. I will not be losing my fastest lap, thank you very much. So far so good. 2 purple sectors, 1 more to go. Just trying to see if I can maximise the points this afternoon. 3, nearly 4 tenths up on my personal best. Here we go. Hopefully it should be enough. I'm out of ERS. I've used it all, but that should make a difference as we go through the final corner. Here we go. It's been a dominant afternoon here today, and we're going to come through to win the Italian Grand Prix. Get in there. Yes.
Yes, you've done it. Well done.
Here we are then, a thoroughly deserved win in Italy after another excellent Grand Prix. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Here comes your top 3 making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One.
There it is, guys. Yet another race win in this My Team career mode. And the next race, of course, is Singapore, where we won our first ever race last year. So there could be potential for back-to-back victories on the cards. Charles Leclerc, P2. We also pick up the fastest lap as well. So 26 points here today. Hamilton in third. Giovinazzi, P4. What a performance from him in the Alfa Romeo all weekend. Even in qualifying, he was so damn fast. Sebastian Vettel, P5. Perez, 6th. Ricciardo, Albon, Kvyat, Stroll finish up the point scorers, with Gasly missing out, along with Mick Schumacher, who finishes only P12. Disappointing, because Mick's pace in Q1 was really incredible, and it seems like he peaked in Q1. He never quite got it together. Ocon 13th, and Renault, to be fair, would be disappointed. They were really fast last weekend in Spa, weren't the same this weekend. Sainz, Norris, Verstappen P16, Raikkonen, Grosjean, Russell, Magnussen, Latifi all miss out on the points, with Bottas DNFing here today. Both McLarens and Verstappen at the points, incredible. As we look at the driver standings, we are third place. We've got 19 points over Sebastian Vettel, so we extend our lead over the German here today. And meanwhile, Hamilton 46 points clear at the top, and we're 50 points behind Valtteri Bottas. Meanwhile, Schumacher still in 14th place. We then move into the constructors, and we're still in third place, and we've got 76 points, over Racing Point. So we are looking very comfortable in that regard. And Renault up to 6th with that result, overtaking Alpha Tauri, and Red Bull still only P5, which is really disappointing from them this season. And they've had a shocker. Overall, guys, that is it from me here today for the race at Monza. We're now going to move into the laptop.
It doesn't get much better than a win at this track, does it?
It's right up there, I've got to say. It was a really good race, and the car was just incredible. And yeah, it's unreal. The car just was brilliant. Everything we did to the car, it worked. It could take it. We was using a lot of engine mode, and the engine could take it. It was just incredible.
You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
To be honest with you, the car was really nimble and light in these conditions. It just worked so well for us, and you can see the pace.
What do you think made the difference between this weekend and last weekend?
I think the fact that aerodynamics weren't that important, I think helped. We brought some upgrades this weekend, and I think that's where we've improved a lot.
We all underestimated you, didn't we?
You could say that, but the team as well. And yeah, when we're working together, I think we really deliver some great results.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Okay then, so after that race, we gain a nice amount of points in the rivalry breakdown versus Charles Leclerc, and we take back the lead 15 to 14. So the halfway stage of 30, and we're looking pretty good. We also gain quite a decent amount of acclaim, very close now to level 18 as a team. So we're slowly getting there, as we're also level 15 almost, and Mick is almost level 12. We then move into the cash bonuses, and we had a flawless weekend with our brand new sponsor Pay Night, which has achieved a top 12 finish, and no damage deductions. So a flawless weekend all round. Win, fastest lap, maximum cash bonuses, and we're now up to $13 million, which is absolutely insane. Now, this is going to be a big turnaround, actually. We've got 10 days until the next race in Singapore. We have over 2,000 R&D points and $13 million. So first of all, let's assign activities for all of these days, and we're going to have a lot of things to do. So we've got quite a few different options here in terms of what to do. Team building, I feel like could be a good one. We're going to help improve the morale a little bit, so that's going on there straight away. Then we've got a possible sponsor event to improve the team acclaim. That wouldn't be too bad. The only issue is it would take up 5 days and leave us with a couple of spare ones, which is not ideal. So I think we're going to leave it there. We're going to go sponsor advertisement. That's going to be a really tasty one. And then there's 2 days left, so we'll go simulated training for Mick Schumacher. We then move over to the R&D. You can see on the left-hand side, first of all, we've got the air filter on the way on the 13th. We're going to try and add to that here today. So let's have a look. First of all, the engine, we're mid-table-ish. Chassis, we're also in 4th place, so we're in the upper echelons, and we're mid-table in aerodynamics. So I think we can add some more, and we can do better. So let's add a front wing end plate upgrade, a major one here. I'm going to try and rush it and see if it arrives before the Singapore Grand Prix. Fingers crossed it does. And that will leave us with 872 points to purchase a minor upgrade. Looking at my options, I might throw an engine one on there maybe, because it might actually be quite valuable to us. We've got ERS or we've got fuel efficiency. I'm probably going to go ERS, to be honest with you, so I don't mind throwing a minor one on there again. We're going to try and rush it, see if it arrives before Singapore, and see if we get lucky. So let's hope that works out for us. We've then got $13 million to spend, and I can't lie, I'm tempted to work on personnel and help Mick Schumacher out. So we've got the option of simulator or the analysis suite. This one's interesting because it would improve the experience. It is a lot cheaper as well, only $3 million. But you know what, we're going to do both of them actually. So we're going to go for simulator and we're going to go for the analysis suite, and that's going to bring everything up to level 2, as you can see on the top right hand corner of your screen. So gradually we're getting there, things are improving a lot. But with that said, we're now going to skip ahead and we're going to see if everything arrives as planned. Wow guys, what an absolutely incredible turnaround. Everything has arrived before the Singapore Grand Prix. So we've got the updated personnel now, everything on level 2. So that's going to improve Mick's pace even more. So if we quickly go over to Mick Schumacher here, he's now 77 rated and really starting to improve, hopefully with that training as well. I'm expecting a big race from him in the next one in Singapore because it does suit our car. So hopefully Mick can deliver. We then move back over to the R&D and both upgrades have arrived. So we've got the engine one here for the ERS which arrived, and also the major aero one. So both rushed upgrades have worked out, and we're now second in the aerodynamic charts, which is incredible. So some big improvements on the car for this race. No more upgrades in the pipeline. According to the progress chart, we should be the 3rd quickest team heading into Singapore. So things are looking very, very positive on that front. So I'm excited, guys. The next episode is going to be absolutely massive. But guys, if you enjoyed this video, drop me a like and subscribe if you are new, guys, to the channel. I'm close to 50k subs, so any help would be massively appreciated, guys, on the channel. And also finally, guys, on screen right now, you have 2 videos, the previous episode, along with a random video you might enjoy. So do check those out. And yeah, that's it from me here today, guys, for the Italian Grand Prix. And I'll see you all next time. But until then, take care and let's get back from me.